Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. Then we'll have a look at the weather warnings, as we do have a thunderstorm warning that has been put in force for parts of Scotland, and then we'll have a look at the UK Met Office run and have a look at the precipitation, temperature and wind gusts over the next 5 days, as we are going to be seeing pretty strong wind gusts as we have that ex-tropical system moving to our northwest, tightening the isobars, so it could bring some heavy showers and some strong winds. Nothing too exceptional, but maybe 50-60 mile per hour gusts in the north and west. But then we'll have a look at the longer term, where it does look like generally conditions are going to be around average. There's going to be precipitation around, it's not going to be bone dry, and temperatures are going to be around, or maybe slightly above average in the long term. And we'll have a look at the GFS, GM, Eastern VF, and the ensembles for that. So remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So, if we do start on the live radar, you can see we have had a lively day for some. Now, you can see over parts of Netherlands and Germany now, this is the weather front that cleared earlier this morning in around sort of sunrise, really. And behind it, we've had a day of sunshine and showers, but those showers potentially being thundery, as we alluded to yesterday. Now, I did say the UK Met Office run is very good at showing that there's going to be shower activity, but it's always impossible to say exactly where it's going to pop up. And as you can see by the live radar, as I'm recording this around sort of 6:45, sort of 6:30, 6:45, we still have some of these thunderous showers around, and you can see they are banding up, or maybe not banding up, but sort of lining up together. So where we've got little convergence areas in and around sort of Luton, Milton Keynes, this sort of area is probably pretty miserable at the moment. You go 50 miles north, 50 miles south, it's quite a nice day. Sunshine breaking through the clouds. Very similar, you see these pop-up showers and storms. Again, some into southern parts of Scotland. There's a yellow warning for thunderstorms here. Don't see exactly why there is a warning, because I'm not seeing anything too particular about this region. Perhaps there were potential earlier, but I'm not seeing too much about it at the moment. You can see though a bit more sort of persistent precipitation moving into parts of Northern Ireland though, and that will move across the Isle of Man into parts of northwest England before sort of petering out. But you can see some areas have got very lucky today with very minimal showers, others have seen quite a few. If we do run it back a good few hours, you can see why perhaps there was a thunderstorm warning. You can see there's a cluster of, it looks like, decaying cells that's moving through southern Scotland, and you can see elsewhere these big showers and storms moving eastwards, and you can see these big chunky storms across the south coast. You can see each following each other, so you sort of get an hour gap between them, and then you get heavy rain for 20 minutes and lightning. And again, you can see it again across the parts of the South Midlands into parts of Wales. Get a line of showers, and once again for northwest England into the North Midlands and Yorkshire. So these sort of convergence zones where winds converge together can form these showers, and that's why we have seen quite a few heavy showers today, and they have generally formed in sort of lines. So areas like London or North Midlands, and even further northwards than that, have hardly seen anything at all. Maybe a few isolated showers here or there earlier, but nothing too crazy. Now, if you have a look at the temperatures, see what it's showing if we do run it back actually again, right to the beginning of the run to 6 o'clock, you can see how temperatures are pretty warm today. To get it up into the low 20s. Today's sort of 22, 23 degrees for many spots. But you can see, just as I said, around that Milton Keynes Luton area, where we've seen these big thunderstorms still breaking out. You see these blues, and basically wherever we see these thunderstorms, it's going to bring colder air from higher up in the atmosphere, and it's really going to cool things down. So, of course, there's going to be very mixed conditions today, with some areas seeing some big, lovely blue skies and sunshine, others seeing big hefty showers and much cooler conditions. So most areas are warm today, low 20s, but some areas are much cooler. Further northwards and westwards, with more of a westerly wind coming at the moment, with lower pressure moving in, it is of course a little bit cooler. So if we do have a look at the weather warning, just briefly cover this. It does probably expire by most people watching this video, but it expires 8 PM this evening. Heavy slow moving showers and thunderstorms likely to develop during Wednesday afternoon. You can see, following the clearance of overnight rain, this area is likely to see the development of slow-moving showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, although many places will miss the heaviest showers. A few places could see excess of 30 millimetres of rain in a couple of hours, possibly accompanied by lightning and hail, which could be enough to cause difficult driving conditions and localised flooding. So you can see it's high impact, but very low likelihood. So again, probably Met off its sort of potential there, and it doesn't look like it's quite come off, only sufficiently for a yellow warning, because we're seeing similar thunderstorms in the south. So I don't know exactly why this was put into place, but it's there. We have some thunderstorms in it, but I just don't think it is to the sufficient level for a yellow warning. But of course, warnings are hit and miss, especially with some sort of convective things like thunderstorms, where they can pop off unexpectedly, or they can not pop off and be pretty tame compared to what the models are showing. So it is very difficult, but yeah, don't think this was quite warranted. So if we do now have a look at the UK Met Office run, have a look at the precipitation, temperature and wind gusts, you can see that precipitation moving and clearing through by around sort of sunrise for many areas, perhaps around 8-9 a.m. for the far eastern areas, before those thunderstorms moved along. And you can see they are slightly showing a convergence zone across the south of England and maybe through the Midlands as well, but nothing too crazy. So definitely, it's definitely an outcast whenever we have thunderstorm situations. You see those storms popping up, and you can see there is some heftier storms across southern parts of Scotland. So you can't see why they put a yellow warning in force, but it didn't quite come off, I don't think. Beyond that, you see that precipitation moving to the northwest overnight tonight, but fizzling out really. And then we see another weather front spread through tomorrow. It's just patchy rain really. Pretty miserable under that. Nothing too heavy, but nothing too great either. Beyond that, into Friday, most areas quite sunny and will be pretty warm as well. Could be a few showers in the north and west as we have that ex-tropical system moving through. So that ex-tropical system not only is going to bring stronger winds, but it's going to be drawing up some very warm air as well. Because if we do have a look at that 850 HPA temperatures, you can see sort of 7-8 degree isotherm moving up from the southwest, which is pretty warm. So low to maybe mid-20s could be possible there, as we'll see in a minute. Looking back through precipitation, and you can see clearing through that into Saturday. Sunshine and showers once again. Showers most likely in the north and west, maybe some persistent rain in western Scotland. And beyond that, still generally dry in the south. And by Sunday into Monday, a weather front starting to move in for the early hours. But most areas in parts of England and Wales are going to be pretty dry over the next couple of days. Doesn't look too bad at all. The next 5 days could be seeing very minimal rain in many areas in the south and the east. Beyond, of course, this evening, doesn't look like there's going to be much on the cards at all. So if we do just have a look at wind gusts briefly, we just do run out to Friday. So you can see early as of Friday, 50 plus mile an hour wind gusts, maybe 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts there, maybe even a tad higher over higher ground through Friday morning before it does clear. And again, another resurgence on Saturday, potentially over the Highlands of Scotland, 50, 60 miles per hour before it does die away. And we go back to sort of our general sort of 20, 30 mile per hour gusts. So it isn't crazy, it's not a winter storm level, but because it is stronger than we usually see this time of year, quite a bit stronger than we usually see, and we have sort of full leaf on many trees and plants, it could be a little bit impactful. So it'll be interesting to see if a weather warning is put in force, but I don't know. There's probably potential there, but I don't know if they will, if it does warrant it. If you look at the max temperatures, you can see today those temperatures rising to low 20s, 21, 22 degrees in many spots where we've seen those sunshine and avoiding those showers. As we head into tomorrow, you can see those temperatures are going to rise once again in the far east, where we're escaping that cloud and drizzle. Further westwards, 20, 21, 22 degrees possible once again, quite widely for many areas. Even parts of the Republic of Ireland behind the weather front with more sunshine, get over to the low 20s. As we head into Friday, you see those temperatures rising very quickly by midday into the low 20s, and I wouldn't be surprised by 3-4 p.m. to be seeing 23, 24, or maybe even 25 degrees. You can see quite widespread 21 to 23 there, and again, the hotspot areas will be a degree or two warmer than that. So localized microclimates will be maybe a degree or two warmer. So 25 degrees possible on Friday, so it looks like it's going to be a very nice day for many areas in the sort of Midlands, Southern England, even Northern England, and many areas, and all areas really in the east are going to be looking really nice. As we head into Saturday, temperatures are still decent, 23, 24 degrees, still in the east, perhaps cooling down still further northwards though. And Sunday does look like, once again, another fine sunny day. So if you are in the east and the southeast over the next sort of 5 days, be prepared for some very warm weather. It's not hot by any means, but low 20s. It does look like the high temperatures will be in around that sort of 22 to 25 degree mark for the next 5 days. So really quite nice. Going to see a big split though with this. It does look like north and westwards going to be much cooler and rainier. So people up there will probably be like, oh, what's going on with all this warmth we're seeing? That's further south and eastwards, we're getting up to towards the mid-20s, minimal rainfall and a lot of sunshine. So a big split. And again, difficult to say exactly where that sort of transition zone will be, but it's somewhere in northern England and parts of Ireland as well. That's where that sort of transition zone between cooler Atlantic sort of conditions and warmer conditions from high pressure further south and eastwards. So if we do have a look at that in detail on the GFS run, you can see low pressure that it was moving through today, bringing those weather fronts, and that low pressure sort of dissipates away. And you can see the ex-tropical system, ex-tropical storm Alex to our northwest, quite a severe low pressure system, but nothing too crazy. And then we see generally southwesterly winds. You can see for the far south and east under higher pressure, and that's why we're seeing those very warm conditions. As we head through beyond that, you can see high pressure extending to our south, but low pressure to our north. And that's why we're going to be seeing this split in conditions, where it's going to be warm in the south and east, but cooler further north to west with westerly flow, with close to that high, or the centre of the high, with minimal isobars further south and eastwards. Beyond that, generally we stay with the westerly flow, but still pretty warm in the south, before things start to turn a little bit more interesting in the longer term. A bit of high pressure towards Scandinavia, a bit more of an east to southeasterly wind. Look at those upper air temperatures, could start to draw in some very hot air, getting towards 15 degrees at 850 HPA, which could be a recipe for our first 30 degrees of the summer. But it is a good couple of weeks away, so I wouldn't look in too much detail in that. But it's just the potential there. It does look generally quite dry and not too bad. Yes, a westerly general flow. So we're not going to be seeing any 30 degrees in the next sort of 7 to 10 days. But mid-20s is very possible because, of course, the air coming off the Atlantic isn't cold this time of year, especially from a southwesterly wind. It isn't cold, but it's not going to give us anything much higher than sort of mid to high 20s when we do have sunshine around. So do now have a look at the GEM run, see how that does compare. Again, low pressure running in, ex-tropical storm Alex to our north and our west, and then high pressure generally in the south and east, low pressure further north and westwards, bringing big splits. Runs in the longer term, perhaps low pressure getting closer further south and eastwards, but not fully penetrating through the high pressure to our south, so it still does look pretty decent. Bit of a northerly flow there in the longer term, so perhaps turning in some cooler air from the north, quite a bit cooler, 0 degree isosphere moving through, and look at the temperature deviation, it really is quite cold, 4 to 6 degrees below average, but I wouldn't expect anything too major with that. It is 10 days away, so still a lot of uncertainty, so maybe a bit of an anomalous run there, and maybe a little bit of a transient northerly. So we'll have to see how it does play out, but generally over the next sort of 5 to 7 days, it looks warm and dry in the south and east, still warm, but perhaps some cooler and wetter days further northwards and westwards. If we do now have a look at the ECMWF, see how that does compare. Again, low pressure running in off the Atlantic, that system to our north and our west, and then generally high pressure to the south and east. Low pressure over the top and to the north. It does look like it's making more of an influence on the ECMWF run. To the south, not quite escaping it. Before in the longer term, high pressure does start to build back in. So interesting seeing that. Very much not showing that high pressure building is as far northwards. Definitely more of a low pressure influence there. So we'll have to see how that does play out. But it could move that sort of transition from cooler, wetter conditions and cloudier conditions further southwards, confining warmer conditions, perhaps to the far southeast, or even maybe over towards the near continent. So yes, we'll have to keep an eye on that. It is sort of 7 days away, so still subject to change. But as I said, for the next 5 days, as we saw with the UK Met Office run, it looks pretty bang on warm and dry in the south and east, cooler and wetter further northwards and westwards, but not exclusively cool and wet. It's going to be warm there for some days, just not every day. So we do finish by having a look at the ensembles. If we start on the GFS ensembles, if I just do refresh them, you can see generally temperatures are in and around average. Yes, there's going to be some cooler air masses, there's going to be some warmer air masses, but you can see over the next sort of 5 to 7 days, for London, it's looking really dry. A few showers here or there, but generally very, very dry. And it doesn't really matter what the air mass is. As long as it's sort of in around that average mark, we're going to be seeing temperatures into the low to mid-20s, just because of the strength of the sunshine. And of course, the more sunshine we see, the more we sort of build surface heat as well. Even surface heating by like sort of 1 or 2 degrees overnight, for example, just holding on to the heat, just means instead of being 21 degrees, it's 23 degrees or something, just something like that, just for example. So if we do see this sort of dry and warm spell continue, we could be seeing quite a few consecutive days of low to mid-20s. So looking pretty decent. Longer term, generally still around average, some warmer, some cooler runs, and precipitation does return, but doesn't look too massive, so generally probably just showers. If you do have a look at the 2 meter temperatures over the next sort of 5 to 7 days, you can generally see low 20s is the most likely scenario. But again, these are low resolution ensembles, so it's always going to add a couple degrees to that. And if we just finish the video by having a look at the ECMWF ensembles, again, you can see generally in around that average, maybe slightly below average more in the longer term with more precipitation. But again, it is got a big spread. There are quite a few ensemble members going above, quite a few ensemble members going below. So we can't say anything with too much detail at this stage. Just generally in around that average mark, which, as I said, with sunshine, is really quite nice. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you are in the south and the east, make sure you do enjoy the sunshine and the warmth over the next few days. Not massively hot. It's not heat wave by any means, but it's really nice, pleasant summer weather. If you're further northwards and westwards, you will see some decent conditions at times, but do prepare for some cloud, rain, and cooler conditions in general. So as I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.